Happy draft season. I am Jason Gilbo here at Fantasy Football Cafe. Taking a look at the Arizona Cardinals, looking at the team preview, just giving a quick update. Lots of news kind of circling around the Cardinals actually with Michael Floyd being injured, could miss some of the beginning of the season, which would definitely be an impact on Larry Fitzgerald and John Brown there. So definitely some news going on. A little upside in the passing game, which I like, but followed by some risk in the running game with the two backs there. Looking back at 2014, Cardinals were definitely overachievers, winning 11 games, just falling short of the Seattle Seahawks in the division. I mean, for a team that ranked 25th in yards per play, and punted just over 50% of their possessions, 11 wins is very impressive. Put a lot of faith in that defense and playing close games and pulling it out late. Um, I mean, losing Carson Palmer early in the season kind of makes it even more impressive, given Drew Stanton and Ryan Lindley playing for a short time under center. It led to a lot of inconsistent scoring from the wideouts: Larry Fitzgerald, John Brown, Michael Floyd. Um, Probably a pretty overall disappointing offense for a team that was ranked fairly high, or hyped up fairly high coming into the draft season last year. But their defense really kept the team together and produced 11 wins. So overall, pretty good season for the Cardinals. I see them not reproducing those numbers coming into 2015, but should still have some pretty good fantasy value. As far as the offseason acquisitions go, the Cards stay pretty intact. Lost a couple guys on the defensive side, but should still be a top 10 defense. Their big draft pick with some fantasy value, David Johnson out of Northern Iowa, um, has to be an insurance pick here for non-durable Andre Ellington. Very similar style player, catches the ball well out of the backfield. Could actually steal some touches inside the red zone, just being a little bit bigger. So that's something to keep an eye on, and you kind of got to downgrade Ellington a little bit there with that. Um, it's hard to get excited about these NFC West offenses as a whole. Outside of Seattle, you just play six tough-nosed games within the division each season, and you know, yes, the Cardinals have some upside, but in terms of the other teams in the league, you still got to rank them fairly low. Um, Starting with Carson Palmer comes in ranked near guys like Jay Cutler, Robert Griffin III, Joe Flacco. Um, you know, Carson Palmer looked great in the 6 games he played last season. He threw for nearly 250 in each games, just missed a couple by 10, 15 yards or so. So, you nearly averaged 250 yards per game. Threw 11 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Um, sure, you could be worried off a guy who's having knee surgery or his second knee surgery at 36 years old. But at his average draft position, not a lot of risk in where you're taking him anyway. I think 4,000 yards, 25 touchdowns is very doable for Carson Palmer as long as he stays healthy. Could you give him 30 touchdown upside? That's probably pushing it. But giving the core around him, maybe. If he's actually relied on heavily to throw in the passing game because the running game's not working, sure, maybe he could throw 30 touchdowns, but I think it's a lot to ask. With the receiving core, what it is, Michael Floyd could be missing the beginning of the season. Both him and Fitzgerald burned fantasy owners last season, which could have them turning away from drafting them yet again, since they were all very popular hype picks coming into the draft season in 2014. I like John Brown. I think he has a nice 1,000-yard season coming in, projection here coming into the season. I like the group as a whole, mainly due to them failing to live up to the hype. How many people are going to have the stones to take the chance again? Um, Overall, I see 2 of the 3 producing. If Floyd comes back and stays healthy, it's going to be Floyd, and then either Brown or Fitzgerald picking up, wide receiver 2 there in Arizona. With the running game, something I don't really want to mess with in Arizona. There's better teams out there with better options. Andre Ellington, seen as a solid running back, yet rushed for 3.3 yards per carry last season. And with Johnson coming in being a similar style player, I could definitely see him sneaking away some touches, which I don't like. Yeah, Arians has come out and said that Ellington's going to touch the ball 20 times a game. If it's a lot in the receiving game, sure, I'll like Ellington, especially in PPR leagues. But it's hard for me to take the risk on him at his average draft position right now. Overall, I think the Cardinals have pretty fair potential for upside in the passing game as long as everyone stays healthy. Like I said, my big question is who comes away as the two of the top three wideouts because I don't think there's enough targets to go around unless they just become heavily reliant and can't run the ball at all, which could be a thing, and they could rely on Palmer to really carry the team. So, I mean, kind of the Cardinals overall in general, some upside in the passing game, but a very risky run game pretty much sums it up for 2015.